Hey there, I'm Curtis Crotty with the Crotty Group, and I'm joined with Christian Castro, who's a new member of our team. We wanted to sit here today and talk a little bit about some of the myths that come with buying a home and showcase some of the things that are out there that make buying a home a little bit easier. I think the biggest thing, Christian, that you thought too when we first started looking for your house was down payment. And there's so many buyers out there, or so many renters, that don't think they can buy because they don't have 10% down, 20% down. You don't really need that. Is that something that you experienced too? Is that something that you thought was necessary?
Yeah, initially I thought I needed the 20% down, right? And once I talked to you, you helped me explain that there's options available for me to get into a house without needing the 20% down, right? And then you connected me with our preferred lender, and that's when I got a little bit more insights on what options were available for me. And so after having that conversation, it made me feel a little bit more confident and comfortable following through with a purchase.
So you're 24 now, but you were 23 when you bought your first house.
Correct.
23. I wish I bought my first house at 23. You did that with $7,000 down. You bought a 2-bedroom condo in Chicago in Southport Corridor with $7,000 down. So what was the first piece of that puzzle that really helped us in the negotiating side?
I think one of the biggest things that helped me out was the fact that we started actually our search process a little bit later in the year, right? With the spring market and even the summer market, right? I knew it was going to be tough for me to get in, especially when everyone was over asking. And
yeah, there's a lot of buyer competition.
Yeah, I was getting, outbid every place that we went to and put an offer by at least 20, 30K.
Right.
And so, that alone, I wasn't even able to afford that at that point, right? What helped me was the flexibility that I had. When I started my search, actually, it was closer to the end of the year when no one's actually trying to buy in the winter, right? Not ideal, but for me, it worked out with my numbers and it made me get into my first home.
Yeah, so here in the winter, obviously, there's a lot less inventory on the market for you to look for, so you don't get a ton of options. But conversely, like you said, nobody's really looking to buy in the winter, so there's not as much buyer competition during that time. So we found something, we were a little bit more flexible with your time. We found something that had a couple days on market, it was sitting there, and instead of negotiating the price down, we negotiated in a seller credit. Instead of having $10,000 off the purchase price, this seller gave you $10,000 at closing, which helped you offset your closing costs.
Correct, and that really did help me because, like we talked about, right, we don't need a big down payment, right, up front. And so when you explained that a seller credit is going to offset my monthly or my upfront cost, that really kind of put some relief on me, knowing that I didn't have to put up so much money. And I know we talked about potential different options as well that help with down payment assistance, if you want to get into that as well.
Yeah, so on top of the seller credit that we got, there was also a program that Illinois was doing for down payment assistance. So you got an additional $6,000 grant from the state of Illinois, and there's some stipulations that you have to follow, like you have to live there for a certain amount of time, but $6,000 directly to your pocket at closing really helps with your closing costs.
Yeah, and when you think about it, right, we have the $10,000 in credits there, and then on top of the $6,000 in closing credits there, it really came down to $7,000 out of pocket just to buy this property. So it saved me a lot.
$16,000 worth of assisted down payments simply from finding a house that was on the market for a little bit and doing some research with our lender to figure out if there's any programs for you. Instead of having, what is that? Let's do quick math here. $16,000 plus $7,000, $23,000 of down payment. You would have had to have that much cash up front. You were able to close with $7,000 out of your pocket.
And the beauty of it is, since I had that money saved, I could technically use it for renovations and updating my current living space, or now I'm already ready for the market again. So
look at that, 24 now, been in your house for almost a year and you're already looking for a second spot.
My goal is to get one a year, but we'll see if we can get there.
You don't need a ton of money down to buy a home. There's a lot of different tools and strategies that we can do as realtors and as lenders to help reduce the upfront out-of-pocket costs. Christian, your experience was super cool. It was awesome seeing you do that, and you love the process so much. You got bit by the real estate bug, and now you're an agent.
Yeah, glad to be here. I'm happy to help whoever needs help. Love to talk to any first-time home buyers who are on the fence about it, right? Would love to get in front of them and kind of relieve some of that stress or some of that nerve-wracking feeling that you may have.
Christian went through it himself. Reach out to Christian if you need any help.